Welcome to Michigan International Speedway and SimTV. I'm Kyle Heyer here with Finian DeCuna for the Rigshare Fuel Cup Series, and tonight we go racing on the 2-mile track out here in Michigan. And Finian, it's going to be a fast one tonight, but we have more important things to race for this evening. Tonight is the Suicide Prevention 200, and we have the information in the hotline there in the video description as well as on our commercial screen. That number is 1-800-273-TALK, and we'll talk more about that later in this event, Finian. But tonight, Michigan Speedway, it's going to be fast, one of the fastest tracks on the NASCAR circuit, and we're ready to go racing tonight with about 30 cars here this evening, so it's another big field here.
I was going to say, one of the things that makes it so fast is the fact that this is the new version of Michigan that was just released in the last build on iRacing, so it has all the new flat pavement, and man, does it pick the speeds up. These guys are doing 214, 215 miles an hour into the corners, so it'll be a very fast and very fun race tonight.
It's certainly going to be a fast one here this evening, and again, when we did to the 2-mile racetracks, Finian, it's a lot less about running the tires off the car. It's more about experimenting with lines, getting yourself familiar with the multiple grooves you can use around this racetrack. But where's the preferred line here at Michigan International Speedway?
Typically, what I've seen these guys run in practice is a lot towards the low line of the track as they enter the corner, and that's really cool seeing these guys.
I did not know that Michigan did this. This is very cool.
I think they started doing this with the newer tracks. So they do this with Pocono. If you don't know what we're talking about the guys lining up diagonal like they do in real life, and it looks amazing.
It does look amazing, and apologies for the paint's popping in here. We're getting into the server a little late here this evening, but again, look at the top of the board. Thomas George sitting there on pole right now, that Milwaukee number 9. That's a great-looking Camaro with that cherry red paint scheme on board. Greg Evans in second. Both those guys have been extremely fast in recent weeks.
Yeah, and as these guys, they look like they're ready to roll off. I think so. Oh, I guess not. They're still waiting.
Got another 5 or 6 cars.
Yeah, but yeah, you know, George really looking to, with that new paint scheme on board, he's really looking to get that win in. And I mean, he's been so close this season so far. So as you see the grid pop up there, you see Thomas George looking for his first one of the season, really strong. Brett McBride outside of him in second.
All right, that's your front row. Greg Evans in the number 2, been very, very quick alongside Tim Silman in that number 6 car. Silman still looking for an outbreak race, and this could be it here today.
Going back into 5th place with Gabriel Perry in the 13, also looking for a win. Been strong all season, hoping he can get it done. But Timothy Johnson doesn't have to worry about that. Got his win last week in 6th.
Nick Kohan, he's one that's been waiting to break out as well. Won an IndyCar race last week at Milwaukee and looking to get another victory here. Starting alongside Justin Rodden in the 0-1 in 8th place.
And going back tonight, we have Zach Buchanan in the 40. He had some struggles these last 2 weeks, looking to finish, have a nice finish. And then Adam Jersky in the 69 in 10th.
Jack Ritchie in 11th, Brian Bliss in 12th, but those guys are both in Chevrolet Camaro ZL1s in the 72 and 18 respectively. They'll be starting back in row number 6.
Moving back to row 7, you have Ethan Kurtz in the 20 and 13th. Outside of him is in 14th is Travis McQuistion in the 93.
Row 7 there. Move up back to row 8. Dwayne Culberson in the number 1 car alongside Norman Pelletier in that number 56. You see the field starting to peel off there. That's for 15th and 16th for those guys. And
moving back to 17th, you have John Martin in the 12, and then outside of him in 18th will be Derek Pemberton in the 81.
We'll move on back to 19th and 20th. Brandon Minto in the 85 and Tyler Dulger in the 88. Another guy we've seen be very quick, but hasn't quite found his way up into the top 5 yet this season. Still looking for that first top 5. Looking strong tonight.
Moving back to 21st, we have Andrew Cardinale in 21st in the 22, and then in 22nd will be Liam Sheen in the 83.
Rick Thompson in the number 76, Daytona winner, and 2-time winner this season, and starting alongside Rich Jett in that number 77 car.
Moving back to 25th, we have Gale Brooks in the 71, and then outside of him in 26 will be Calvin Filarski in the 39.
Filarski starting deep in the field tonight, but not any deeper than John Wilco and Don Runkle Jr. Those guys will be starting 27th and 28th. And I believe that should be, we might have one. That's it. That's the whole field night. 28 cars. You see Andrew Cardinale carrying those suicide prevention colors on there this week. The 1-800-273-TALK. Again, we'll talk more about that and resources you can go to later in this event when we get the time. But, Vinny, we're about to go racing here at Michigan International Speedway, and it's going to be fast. You mentioned it, 215 at the end of the straightaways here, and they're going to have to manage that and keep the power underneath them. But you got a lot of racetrack to play with tonight, and Thomas George in Milwaukee, number 9, Chevy Camaro is going to lead him down to the green. He's going to go whenever he wants to, and he's going to wait, and bunch the field up behind him. And the flagman's got the flag in hand, and green flag here in the air at Michigan International Speedway. Thomas George leads him down. A pretty clean, tidy start for the most part.
Yeah, you see the top 3 pretty much all get single file already as these guys head into turn 1.
Side by side, that's Tim Silman alongside. Is that Gabriel Perry there in the number 13? Both those purple and white and black cars.
And everyone so far all set and good through turn 1 and 2. Onto the back straightaway going. Already single file out towards the front.
There's the 20 of Ethan Kurtz. Not in the 0-5 this week, but he's alongside Travis McQuistion, that number 93. And he almost had a win last week in that Craftsman Toyota. Almost got there, but came up just a little bit short after an exciting late race strategy call.
Yeah, hoping for some more here this week. He's really strong last week. Has some work to do for tonight.
And Greg Evans has popped up into second, looking for the lead now on Thomas George, that number 9. Again, George has been extremely quick in recent weeks, but here he is now looking for the spot as they head off turn 2.
Yeah, field's already getting a little bit spread out. You see towards the back. You see Kohan looking to the inside of the 0-1 of, that is,
Justin Rodden. And you see Zach Buchanan there with Jack Ritchie tucked up right underneath the rear spoiler. And then behind him, McQuistion and Kurtz have switched spots on the racetrack and put Kurtz on the outside and McQuistion on the inside.
He's going to do the over-under. They get a little bit close there on the front straightaway as they go side by side to the line. Looks like Kurtz though has got a better, got the advantage on the top side.
Kohan's driving in side by side with Rodden, and there's Zach Buchanan looking for a spot there. And it's that Adam Jersky in the number 69.
Yeah, almost got into his quarter panel there. That could have been really ugly, but they keep on going.
Field makes their way. We got someone in the wall there off of turn 2. Just a light scrape. They'll all be okay, but Field single filed out for now. But it looks like there is a car side by side. That's the one of Dwayne Culberson looking on the inside as well.
Yeah, looking to make some spots up here. He also started a pretty ways back in the field. So he's got some work to do, lower than what we see him do in the past.
Yeah, not a whole lot of progress so far. And I think it might be a little bit tricky to pass here in the opening stages of the race, but once the tires wear out a little bit, you might get a little bit more mobility. You see their cars making their way through turns 1 and 2. Now the leaders still tucked up next to each other. You see them come off of turn 2, and a little bit loose for Greg Evans there, but they'll get on the back straightaway. You see Perry getting a little bit sideways as well.
Yeah, McBride behind was also pretty loose, but he keeps on going. And again, being loose off of 2, that's a very big characteristic of the older track. But these guys still struggling with it tonight. They're just carrying so much speed through the corner. It can really upset the car. And here you see Buchanan now trying to look to the inside of the 0-1, but can't get it done. And Jack Ritchie, too, looking behind him.
So what about the draft here, Finian? I mean, this is a big racetrack. It's almost as big as places like Daytona and Talladega. So when you're driving around here, is the draft important at all, or is it something that's pretty negligible with the low downforce package?
No, it's pretty important, even with the low downforce package. Any bit really helps, and considering how big the track is at straightaways, considering, and also the fact that it was repaved, so you're carrying more speed through the corners, is more important than ever now with the draft.
Buchanan tucking underneath the 0-1 of Rodden there. He gets a little bit loose off the corner, slides contact, the 72 bounces off the wall, and they're going to have a caution here as they slide across the racetrack and spin out, and the 72 slides down the racetrack.
And we have some more cars spinning up front. I think that's the 18?
18 of Brian Bliss. Yeah, you're right. The Interstate Batteries car there, Finian, and as quick as that started, carnage for a bunch of the front runners here.
Yeah, very unfortunate too. Some strong cars taken out in that. Really curious of what happened to Bliss. I saw him spin towards the front of the camera. Not sure what happened to him at the end of that.
Well, let's take a look, because it all started out with that 40 of Buchanan, who was the first one to get loose here. Let's look from above here, Finian. And again, it was underneath the 0-1, trying to gas it up on the bottom. Maybe it had the car a little bit too far down to the inside. Gets loose, overcorrects into the 72, and I think the 72 is where that 18 got collected here, Finian. Maybe not. Oh, there was more cars involved, and we just catching the tail end of the 18 getting into the wall here, but let's take another look.
Yeah, I think it was when everyone was fanning toward the bottom part of the track that something happened, so we'll watch right now.
Yeah, so you see the 40 get loose here. McQuistion dives to the inside, does a great job of missing him. Oh, and you see...
wow, Kurtz took a hard lick to the inside wall.
Yeah, Kurtz,
didn't even realize he was involved.
Yeah, that's going to be a DNF for Kurtz. I mean, that was a pretty vicious impact there for that number 20. Let's take a look from his onboard, see what he sees. As it gassed up, tries to get down to the inside, and almost makes it, and just bad timing there, and they both... Oh, you see the hood flap. That's cool. I didn't know that happened. The hood flap pops up there, and around he goes into the wall, and...
Yeah, unfortunately, both of them did a great job of avoiding it, but just trying to get separated again, it wasn't enough. And unfortunately, Kurtz and Bliss are victims of that incident as well.
Right on board, again, with the inside of Buchanan's machine here. Watch his hands here. He's already loose, and drove it for a long time, and then gets caught up. Kind of ping-pongs off several cars. And you see Richie go spinning there as well. Well, a calm start leads to kind of a crazy first couple laps here, Finian, as we head back live, and the entire field down in pit lane. Kind of surprised by this move.
Yeah, I guess everyone just wants to get some tires on tonight, but yeah, we'll see as everyone fans down. If anyone does elect to maybe try something to move themselves, maybe some guys towards the back try and move themselves towards the front.
You see Rich Jet popping out, and don't believe he didn't even stop, so he just drove straight on through. See, there's the leaders now. Everyone's coming off a pit lane. Does this 2 beat the 9?
Oh, that was mighty close. I think George has got it.
Yeah, George got it by just a hair there. The rest of the field piles off, and Cardinale up to 14th in that machine. Started back in 21st, so he's up a bunch of spots already.
Yeah, it looks like Perry has gained a few spots on that pit stop. He came in 9th. He's going to cycle into about 6th or 5th in line.
I think he was actually up higher up a little bit. I think he actually lost a couple spots there. But the ticker does show what they came in prior to the yellow, so it's
I guess maybe he cycled in. I don't know. It just still cycled up, but it doesn't look like, besides that, it doesn't look like there's that many gains. But yeah, notably also, Rick Thompson in the 76, he's 4 laps down, so I'm not sure if he missed the initial start or not.
Probably, likely what happened there. That's usually what happens, but now he's trying to get one of those laps back, and Rich Jet in the 77 just went straight on through. So is this a strategy call? Lead a lap? What's the move here? I don't know if the tires wear out that quick. I mean, it's only 7 laps, and it's a new surface relatively, so I'm curious to see how much of an advantage it really is.
I guess these guys figured caution might as well just take some tires, or could also be trying to get on a fuel strategy as well, because well, unfortunately we don't know what their fuel mileage is looking, but these guys might be trying to cycle it out to a place where they can maybe take one less pit stop.
Yeah, pit windows between 35 and 45 laps at Michigan, I believe. That's a rough, really rough estimate. But
so that would put them relatively close. Yeah.
Yeah. So an interesting strategy call here by the 77, because he did not come down pit road that time, so it wasn't to lead a lap. But Thomas George will take up 2nd spot. But again, on the restarts here, I think the tires are going to matter, especially for the restarts. Getting the power down. You're starting in 2nd gear, and because of the nature of this racetrack, you're restarting kind of a fast speed. So you're going to be high up in the revs in 2nd gear and make your wheels want to spin a lot. Well, caution out on lap 7 for issues involving the 40, the 72, the 18, and the 20. And again, we'll want to reiterate that this is the Suicide Prevention 200 here tonight. And again, as all those affected by mental health, we're trying to destigmatize all the issues regarding around that. We have left that suicide prevention hotline number in the video description, and please use those resources if you deem them necessary. And again, the 22 of Cardinale is carrying those colors on board tonight in that gorgeous looking Ford Fusion. So again, issue that's near and dear to our hearts. We work with a couple leagues that do stuff like this, and it's always cool to see. But Rigshare Fuel Cup Series Suicide Prevention 200 here tonight, and we're about 10 laps into it, so 20 miles into the 200, so almost 10% done.
Yeah, going by pretty quickly, I gotta say, but yeah, here we see Rich Jet. I guess maybe he did come out to lead a lap, and now that he's gonna come back in. It's gonna unfortunately drop him all the way towards the back of the field.
Could be a strategy thing, though. I mean, getting yourself out of harm's way. We did see it be pretty calm for a Fuel Rigshare Cup Series. I mean, it tends to be pretty wild here. But pretty calm start for the most part, and just a single car incident kind of turned into a multi-car one as Buchanan corrected back across the track. So unfortunate circumstances for a lot of those drivers involved there, but not a whole lot you can do about that.
Yeah, so right now at the moment we have 26 cars on the track. Only 2 cars who are out are Brian Bliss and Ethan Kurtz. They're gonna call it a night for the most part, unless they come back out, but it'll be with a very damaged race car.
This, unlike last week at USA where aero didn't matter, aero is everything here tonight. You want to have every little bit of downforce you can have these low downforce trimmed race cars, and it's not a whole lot of fun when you don't have any. So as we look from high above here, the brand new Michigan International Speedway, nice and repaved and flat, but look at that back straightaway there, Finian. That back straightaway is wide, and it gives you a lot of opportunities to go diving under people, but it's not, if you're all the way against that white line there on the right-hand side of your screen, that's not really good line into the corner, and you could potentially cause some issues.
Yeah, you definitely want to enter in from the right part of the track towards the wall. Otherwise, like you're saying, not going to get a good corner at all. You're going to potentially slide up mid-corner, which is a thing that tends to happen, especially later on in the run as tires wear out. So you definitely want to try to get a nice arc into the corner.
All right, well, Thomas George and Greg Evans are going to line back up on the front row here and go again. We're going to be restarting on lap 11, so at the 10% marker here of this race. The Ford FR500 pace car will pull off. We got a little bit of a drag race down to the restart zone. But again, George can go. There was some discussion today about the restart zone, but we're going by typical iRacing rules. He can restart whenever the leader goes, and looks like he is using the restart zone and fires off. Thomas George leads him back to the green.
Yeah, again, gets another great start over Evans. He's going to clear him as they head off into turn 1.
See Culberson jumping up into that 9th spot. He's made a bunch of spots up early. Lots of action midfield here. Well, they're all fanning out down the back straightaway. That's the 0-1 or Rodden, I believe, that's in the middle of all that. And Buchanan as well, so they obviously the damage isn't hurting them too bad. But let's head back up front because we got a battle for third now. Rhett McBride and Tim Silliman looking pretty aggressive. You see McBride drop down to the white line, back up, trying to break that draft here, Finian. You're going to see that a lot here tonight. Yeah,
he's also trying to get back up so he can get a good, nice entry. Otherwise, Silliman can get an advantage on him. But yeah, really tight up towards the front here.
Side by side now, that's Don Runkle Jr. And is that Calvin Filarski down there? Yes, indeed it is. And that 39 car started near the rear of the field here this evening in 26th, up to 17th and moving forward. That 39 looking for better luck.
Yeah, so far he's got it at the moment up to 17th. Again, looking to gain a few more spots, but if he keeps this going, he should get that.
John Martin and Dustin Rodden have been kind of driving all over each other here past lap or two. They've really been aggressive. You see Jack Ritchie there kind of nursing that slightly damaged race car, but doing all right with it. So far as we look back up to the lead, and this is a very tight group here. Look at Greg Evans looking to the outside down to turn 1.
Yeah, again, just no bite at the moment. It does seem like the cars are pretty much on rails for these first few laps before tires start to wear in a bit. But, again, really...
the 5 car bounced off the wall there on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, and it looks like these guys are struggling a bit with grip as far as just with the speed they're carrying off the corner. You get that roll can really close up on you.
Look at this battle now. This is going to be for the 8th spot, 7th spot actually. Gabriel Perry's up here as well. And this whole group of cars now, they're all tightly wound in a pack. And Culberson, that 1 car, trying to get back 9th spot away from Travis McQuistion.
Yeah, how about the 69 of Evans?
Battle for the lead. Sorry to interrupt you there, Finian.
No, you see Evans now diving into the inside. Looks like he might be able to do it, but George is going to have a huge run coming off the corner.
That outside lane with that momentum is going to give that 9 car a big run. We'll watch from the front straightaway. You can see the run that he gets, and here comes McBride. Well, what lane will he choose? Because that's going to matter. The arrow coming off the front bumper will help whatever car he chooses to line up with, but off into turn 3, Evans and George side by side.
Yeah, George is going to try to hold Evans down there and not give him the line, but looks like Evans is just going to be able to clear him as they come off forward. New leader, Greg Evans.
It took him 14 laps to get there, but there he is. And, well, look at Silliman throwing the block in Nick Kohan all the way up to the wall. An aggressive move there for Silliman.
Yeah, some people might say that's too early for that kind of stuff, but it's perfect time now.
Silliman's been kind of had some awful luck in recent weeks, so he's looking to make his own luck here today. Again, Tim Silliman carrying the Rigshare onboard gyro cam here again this week. And exactly where he started, so running 4th after starting 4th.
And it looks like he's closing just a little bit on McBride. Again, his top 5 are all really close to each other, so it's pretty much anyone's race at this point.
Let's watch this speed here on the front straightaway here, Finian. Got Nick Kohan behind, but let's keep an eye on the speed on the bottom left of your screen. 207, 208, 210. Will we get to see 214? 213 is the top speed there for Silliman on the front straight.
Yeah, I mean, they were 206 across the line. That's the fastest speed you'll see anywhere on the NASCAR circuit, so it's amazing the speeds that they're pulling at this track.
You see Kohan there in the 21 car. Started in 7th, running 5th. And again, here he goes looking for a pass on Tim Silliman now for 4th, but Kohan has really been probably the quickest car 3 of the last 4 weeks and has not found his way into victory lane in the Cup Series yet. Did win in the Fuel IndyCar Series at the Milwaukee Mile last Thursday and riding a little bit of a high there, but he runs side by side with Silliman, kind of give him a little door check there down the front straight.
Yeah, it looks like these two guys are not entirely happy with each other at the moment. These guys both racing each other hard, and for good reason. These both guys don't have a win yet. And the playoffs are closing in fast, so these guys want to secure their spots in there. See Silliman all the way up to the back bumper and dives into the inside of the last second.
Yeah, a little bit of a crossover move there, and so Silliman will drop back down to the bottom and take a look going down into turn 3. See the exhaust flames shooting out. They're going to go door on door to each other, and not a whole lot of room being given there. They're both kind of going for the middle line.
I was saying, it looks like it's the last 10 laps, but we're only within the first 20. So these guys are racing really hard for this position, but while they've been racing so hard, the top 3's kind of been able to get away a little bit.
Yeah, again, they actually, the third through 5th closed up when the leaders were battling, and as soon as they quit their battle, these guys started fighting, and that's brought Timothy Johnson, last week's winner in the number 28 Amsoil Camry. He's back here in the fight looking for 5th now.
Yeah, I mean Johnson can pretty much just relax for the most part until the playoffs come around because he's got that win secured, so he can just ride around behind these guys. He doesn't have to really force the issue. But you can see these guys are really definitely fighting for that playoff spot.
Off of turn 4 now. Again, 203 across the line. Ridiculous speeds here. Driving off down into turn 1. You see Silman's going to close up. You can almost see the focus in his eyes through the visor there as he's trying to hunt back down that orange number 21. But off of turn 2, it looks like Kohan's going to clear him. And they see McQuistion side by side now with Jersky.
Yeah, Jersky almost brushed the wall. Might have actually just brushed the wall a little bit if McQuistion goes flying by him.
And we see any right side damage on that car. Well, it looks okay to me.
If anything, he got mighty close to it, but now he's trying to hold off the one of Dwayne Culberson.
Derek Pemberton, oh, okay, never mind, it's just an internet issue, was dropping through the order there, but meanwhile, let's head back up to the lead real quick just to get a look at where our leaders are, and Evans and George have not really separated. They're running pretty much identical lap times here on lap 20, so looks like the run's been better to Greg Evans, but George is hanging in there. But Rhett McBride, haven't seen a whole lot of pace in recent weeks, been kind of there, but not really competitive, but here he is back in the top 3 now, a fifth of the way through this race looking for spots, and way back there, I saw Gale Brooks looking for a spot on the 85 of Minto, but then slipped up off the corner. You see Minto trying to get underneath Andrew Cardinale there. That'll be for 12th.
Yeah, Minto trying to have a nice run. He's having a good run tonight so far, just a little bit outside the top 10. Hoping to close that in as he looks again to the inside of Andrew Cardinale.
Wow, you see how fast the camera whips around there. Again, speed's extremely high here. Tyler Dulger side by side with the 77 of Rich Jett as they work their way through turns 1 and 2. You can see the different lines already starting here, Finian. Look at where the 77 is and look at where the 88 is. Top and bottom, 2 different lines, and they're working out just about the same.
Yeah, pretty much so. I mean, that you can really get a run on the high line, just the nature, the way the corner is profiled, and it's just entry and exit. You can really build up some runs on the outside lane. You actually see all 3 of these guys running towards the outside.
Switch back real here. Tim Silman lost another spot here, or is about to lose another spot to Johnston. And this will be for 5th. You see Johnston pulling up the racetrack again, and the leaders are separated by about a 10th, but...
And no, but behind them, looks like Kohan's chasing McBride.
I was wondering where you were pointing at. I didn't see that Kohan was that close to McBride, but he is indeed, and they're side by side down the back straight.
Yeah, just not able to get it done because McBride was holding that outside line. You just saw he just blew by Kohan on the outside, but yeah, Kohan was the one that was catching these top 3 with a significant pace while Silman's been dropping back in the other direction. So interesting to see him. I thought he would have been pretty much out of it, but here he is chasing McBride down.
Yeah, Kohan, again, in recent weeks has had a phenomenal pace, and USA was a little bit of a strategy call to get him up there and ended up kind of costing him as a late race fuel strategy issue kind of prompted him to fall back a little bit, but this guy's due for a win. He's been consistently quick, and we talk about it every week, but how can he not? I mean, he's been the quickest car in here, no doubt, without a win here this season. I put another car in that category. It's that number 6, that Rigshare car right behind him. Both those guys still looking for the first win on the season.
Yeah, and again, both of them having strong nights at the moment as we're 23 laps into this race. So here you see Kohan a little bit loose, actually, out of 4, and so was McBride. He actually
really sideways off the corner there.
Yeah, almost hit the wall, but behind you see Johnston just about looking to the inside of Silman as they head into 1.
And Johnson's got that inside lane, and again, not super preferred here. I see Brandon Minto off the pace, losing a couple spots here, so I'm going to pull away real quick, take a look at what just happened to the 85. He is down off the pace on the apron.
Yeah, he has significant left side damage.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. So we'll go back, take a quick look at what happened to the 85, and looks like he took an off-road excursion here. Let's see what prompted it. Racing with Andrew Cardinale there. Oh, Cardinale gets loose, and door slams him down to the inside. And both those guys go for quite the ride. Cardinale ended up a lot better off than the 85 did, and right side damage too for the 85. So just a mistake there, but that's going to cost both of them.
Yeah, I can't imagine that Minto is not happy with that at all, as he's now stuck back running in 23rd.
Yeah, and the way this race has been going here, Finn, it looks like a pretty green night, so we're going to have some trouble. Well, we got McQuistion battling with Jersky there for a second, but again, it's going to be a long night if you've got trouble, because I don't think the cautions will be flying like they were at USA. So it's going to be more of a green flag strategy night, and we're already about 15 laps into this run. Got 17 laps on the tires if you include the yellows, so Start about halfway through the run, I would say, maybe 60%. So we'll start thinking about when you're going to make that pit stop and maybe play this like a road course race. Play it from the other end down. How many laps can you take before you need to come down pit road, get those tires and fuel for the end? You're playing this race in reverse. As you see, Kohan clears McBride for third. Now he's going to try to hunt down those leaders.
Yeah, but again, you got to imagine with him chasing...
Oh, man, the one of Culberson got loose.
Yeah, it keeps it going, though. And notice on screen, too, that the fact that the top 10 are significantly ahead of the rest of the field.
I'm going to take another look at this from... Watch his hands here off the exit of turn 2. Whoa. Wow, and that was at 175 plus miles an hour, so a great save by Culberson. That'll keep him running in 10th.
Yeah, he did a fantastic job. We made it look easy. A save like that is very hard with the car out of 2. But he did a fantastic job of saving. He's going to keep on going. But here we see the everlasting battle between McQuiston and Jersky as they head down the back straightaway. The guys have not been able to get separated from each other.
No, they have not. Here's Gail Brooks and Rich Jett in a battle there, the 77 and 71. Separated by a little bit, and again, this race has separated itself out. We've seen now that the tires have worn out, giving people a little bit more room and making this probably go more green than otherwise would be. See, on board with Greg Evans now. So let's see what the corner speeds are like. We should get an idea of what the corner speeds. 158, about 17 laps into the run. That speed's going to continue to fall as the tires wear out.
Yeah, but just watch how much speed he gets down the straightaway. And up to 200, past 200. Up to 203. Yeah, 203, but definitely I think it'll be more interesting to see him coming out of 4. Because that's really where you really hit the top speed in these cars. You see carrying through 3 and 4, he's carrying about 165.
And it's interesting because it looks symmetrical, but the way the track is laid out, the way you drive it, it's a little bit different. So you see 208, 209, 210, 211 top speed here, and we'll watch as he drops back down, probably about mid-150s. 148 I saw there for a second, so obviously the speed differential pretty big, but as is his lead now. Look, George has fallen into the clutches of Kohan. Kohan's looking for second now.
Yeah, Kohan's doing a fantastic job, and even behind him, the 28 in 4th of Timothy Johnston, too. He's crawled up the field. He got around Rhett McBride for 4th place. Caution is on the track.
Norman Pelletier on the back straightaway, and he's got significant damage to that 56.
Yeah, hard spin, and from the tire marks, it looks like he had an impact with the wall out of 2.
Yep, it's not a place where you want to have an impact with the wall, and there was potentially some contact that led to this. So there's the 39 of Calvin Filarski running alongside Norman Pelletier here. And they come off of turn 2, and Pelletier actually just loses it all by himself. And Filarski gets collected. Man, that stinks.
Whoa, and someone got sent to the inside wall. I think the 88 of Dulger.
Actually, he managed to avoid it, but let's take another look here again maybe from above so we can watch everybody scramble. We see the 56 get loose, kind of holds it in a drift for a little bit. Filarski gets hit. Filarski locks it down, but then watch all these other cars here. Whoa, man, the 88. We'll get an onboard from him as other guys squeeze on by without any contact. And Dolger, through all that, managed to advance himself up to 14th, so actually gained a couple spots. There's Cardinale and the 76 of Rick Thompson, who's still 4 laps down. You see the wreck happening in front of him. Not sure where to go, and oh, man! And he almost hits Filarski in the door.
Yeah, he's lucky that it's all pavement down there, so he's able to use all of it to save the car.
Yeah, speaking of the pavement, let's take a look at how much he actually used here. There's coming off of turn 2. And that's about as much as you want to be using. All the way down, probably 3/4 of the way into that runoff area. So Dolger gets through, but we're going to have some pit stops here as the field heads down on the pit lane. And everybody's going to be here. And now you're really thinking about your fuel strategy here, Finian, because we're on lap 30, so about splits this race into... You could probably do this on one stop from here on out.
Yeah, we're going to see, does anyone try anything different?
77 Rich Jet's popping out. And Kohan in the 21 is going to gain a spot and pops out right behind Greg Evans in the 9 of Thomas George, an abysmal pit stop. That'll put him out in 6th.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of curious of what happened to him. That was a very poor pit stop. Went all the way to the back.
Only a 14.8. So actually, I think if we can get a replay of this, he might have actually slid through his box.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking at this point.
And we'll see if he does.
Oh, yeah.
Yep, just crosses that line, and that's just enough to cost you 4 spots on pit lane. I'm actually surprised he didn't lose more. But the 9 of Thomas George going to lose a bunch of spots on that caution sequence. But other notables there, Greg Evans retained the lead. Nick Kohan jumps up to second, Johnston to third, so he'll be right behind Greg Evans for the restart. So don't put that 28 out of your sight too far. Tim Silman in fifth.
And one car I actually wanted to talk about, but before the caution came out, is the 77 of Rich Jet. He drove all the way back up into 11th place on that last run. So he did a fantastic job, and right now he's in 8th, so he actually might have some pace. So not good. He might actually, maybe for the win. I'm not sure, but he might be around later on in this race.
Well,
so
look at where he's running versus where he started. I'd say so far he's having a good night for that 77.
So he might be one to watch. And also too, the 71 of Gale Brooks is also doing a decent job.
He's a bunch of spots on pit lane though, 25th to 10th.
Yeah.
So far for his day in 32 laps. So again, good progress there for that 71 car. Well, we're about a third of the way through this race. It's going by pretty quick, but I think the dominant cars of the day have already really been established. That's the 2, the 21, the 28, and the 5. And you can throw the 9 in there as well, but I think he's been fading late in the run, and that's not something we saw in back at Charlotte when he was running real strong alongside the 21 of Kohan a few weeks ago. The 9 actually seemed to get stronger over the course of the run, not weaker, and tonight seems to be the opposite.
Yeah, and it's not going to help him, too, with him being back in 6th place now. On his restart, it's going to make his problem even worse with that fall-off. So he's got to really manage his stuff now as he has to go forward and not instead of worrying about going backwards.
Well, I think one guy that's pretty happy with the progress so far today is Timothy Johnson. Started 6th, up to 3rd, so far a pretty quiet day for the Amsoil Camry. But this guy, again, won last week. It was the first time we've seen him in victory lane this year. And he's been really racy, just hasn't had things quite go his way. But today, he looks like he's got the pace, and if things go awry up front, he'll be right in the catbird seat. I still don't know what a catbird seat is, Michael Waltrip, but he's there. He's in it. I don't know what it is, but he's in it, and he's looking real strong in that 28 car.
Yeah, points leader at the moment by 34 points over Rhett McBride in 2nd.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so he's doing a fantastic job this season overall. Just good consistency out of that 28 machine. I mean, he's pretty much been up front with the rest of these guys all race, but towards the end of the race, he's always usually at least somewhere there in the top 5.
All right, we should get the 1 to green here this time through, and that 21 car is actually, interestingly, the Greg Evans in the number 2 took the high lane. What are your opinions on that there, Finian?
I think, honestly, that might be a good line to go with. Just with usually the way the start works out, these guys looks like the front row gets kind of single file already, so it doesn't make that much of a difference, especially considering how far down how much before the straightaway you actually start. Yeah. And then by the time you get down, you're usually already spread out.
And I don't know if these guys think this in terms of the competition-wise, but if you look at that inside row, that is 3 of probably the strongest cars in the field, the 21, the 28, and the 6. So you put those 3 cars in one lane, they're going to all attack each other, and that's going to cause some issues for them. So putting yourself in a line with guys that aren't going to try to pass you on the outside 3 wide going off into turn 1, probably a good move. You see way back there is the 20 of Ethan Kurtz. He is back out on track with a severely damaged car, 23 laps down, but out here to salvage anything he can with some other cars that have been totaled here tonight. And he'll get at least 1 spot because Brian Bliss is done for the evening at number 18.
Alright, just a quick update from Race Control. The 56 of Norman Pelletier is going to get an EOL for causing the last caution. So he will start towards the end of the field this time by.
And looking at the restart here. That number 21 is going to be on the inside lane. As they come off of turn 4. And the 2 cars going to lead him back down. It looks like we're already fired off, and Greg Evans leads him down to the green. And look at the 21, got a phenomenal restart there, and he actually might be alongside the 2 car heading down off into turn 1.
Yeah, he got a great start there, and he's going to barely be able to get it there unless Evans gets a good run off the corner. It looks like that's going to be what happens. And actually, yeah, it looks like Kohan had a check up mid-corner.
Yeah, he did have to check up.
And here comes McBride charging on the outside.
Jersky almost bounced off the wall again off of turn 2. He's done that a couple times today. But look at the 5 McBride looking for second. But meanwhile, behind him, the whole field scattering down the back straightaway. There is a blue car that is on the inside of everybody there. I think that's the 83 of Liam Sheen, and indeed it is. Looking pretty aggressive there. But again, side by side up in front, we got Rich Jet. And that's Gabriel Perry there as well. Tim Seelman all thrown in this group.
Again, a lot of strong cars up here. And how about, yeah, Rich Jet looking really racy right now. with pretty much the main guys in the series up there battling for the front part. Look at that field just going through.
Wow, so close to the wall off of turn 2. And he's look at Kohan. I think the 5 got a little bit too close. Look at the 1 of Culberson all the way out there on the back straightaway, all the way down against the line. He'll get around the 81 of Derek Pemberton. That'll be for 13th.
Yeah, it looks like he almost got loose as he dove really far down towards the inside line, but keeps it going straight.
Oh, look at everybody snaking down the front straightaway again. Gabriel Perry looking for the inside of Tim Silliman, but Silliman's tucked up right up against the 28 of Johnson, who lost a couple spots on the restart. Didn't quite expect that out of the 28. I thought he'd be up more on the gears than he was there. And he's going to lose a couple spots, and now he might lose another one to Tim Silliman.
Yeah, but who got a great start is the 9 of Thomas George, moved up to 4th place now, looking on 3rd as he tries to steal that away from Kohan.
We're 3 wide there for a second. Brandon Minto, and there's the 21 of Cardinale trying to make up for lost time after an incident earlier on the front straightaway. And remember, those guys were the 2 that got together. He's going to slide up the racetrack right in front of the 85, and Dale Jr. would say, slide job, and he clears him and heads off down the front straightaway. Look at McQuistion and Adam Jersky. These guys have been dogging each other the whole race. They got to be getting tired of each other now, huh?
Yeah, probably at some point I think they're going to get a little bit tired of each other, but here comes McQuistion charging on his back bumper, trying to get a position.
Look how neat and tidy the field is off of turn 2 there.
Ooh.
Oh, wow, we got one hard in the wall, and I think that's a 69 again. He's been flirting with it, and he pounded it pretty good there. Let's get a replay of that. Oh, yeah, just misjudged it and packed it in there pretty good. But we'll cut back live real quick as here comes the 93 down to the inside looking for a spot.
Yeah, he's got a good run to work with. You see Gale Brooks on the back behind them, trying to get the draft to work with.
Questions on the inside now, looking for that spot. See 170 mid-corner speed now. Real close to that quarter panel off turn 2.
It barely gives Jersky enough space. You can see how tight these guys are racing. Not trying to give any inch they can, but you have to let up at some point before you get into him. And unfortunately, McQuistion had to back up, but he's going to try again. And again, it seems.
Well, again, you can't really back out. You see, I had to lift the throttle there for just a second, but that puts him at risk of getting passed from behind. And Brooks didn't get a great corner exit, but if you have to lift even for a second, it kills your straightaway speed. You need all 750 horsepower powering through the big heavy air to get your car around this racetrack as fast as possible. Up ahead, you see Silliman looking for a spot on Timothy Johnson here, and Silliman has not given up. Driving off into turn 3 now.
You can see everyone pretty much in procession now. The entire top 8 really close together. You see McQuistion now looking to the inside of Jersky yet again. He's got a good run coming out of the corner. But will he be able to get it this time by? And it looks like actually Jersky's able to hold off with that run. He's just so dominant coming out of the corner.
McQuistion's going to tuck back in for any little bit of draft he can get going off into turn 1. Will he try the high lane now? And you see the 93, he was trying the bottom before. Here he goes up a couple lanes trying to use that advantage, but he's right behind the 69 Finian. Don't you have to get out of his line a little bit and do something different?
I just think with right now at the beginning of the run, it's really hard to do so, just considering how the way the tires are. You see now looks to the inside, McQuistion does, and he's going to try to get it on Jersky, and he might be able to do it.
Jersky's going to be driving right around the outside. It's going to be hard to clear him here, but he's just going to get in front of him. But does Jersky use a side draft and to get back alongside him? And he looks like he will. And you see that 69 start to pull up alongside the 93, but McQuistion might be able to just throttle off in here and clear him.
We'll see what happens. Turn 2 is really tricky to exit when you dive down low.
Looks like he will get him. Well done by the 93 of McQuistion.
Yeah, great job by him. That's allowed the 77 of Rich Jet ahead to kind of eke away just a little bit in that entire top 8 too, to just get ahead of these guys.
And look how close they are still. And again, it takes the tires a little bit of time to wear off. You see, wow, Silliman really dogging the rear end of the 28. He's all over him. He's loose on corner exit.
Yeah, it's not stopping at all. He's going to be right in there. He knows what he needs to do to try to get a win. How about up front? Looks like some action going on.
Looks like the 5-car McBride jumped out of line there momentarily.
Yeah, trying to hold off Kohan. And these top 3 especially, it looks like it's tightening up as well.
Timothy Johnson has been dealing with a big Rigshare Ford Fusion number 6 in his rearview mirror for several laps now, as they drive off into turn 3. It does look like it's a very single-lane racetrack here in the opening laps, but as soon as the tires start to wear out, that high line becomes really dominant.
Yeah, just the run out of the corner. And speaking of runs, it looks like the 13 of Perry is trying to look to the inside of or outside of Silman.
Didn't really make up his mind to the end of the straightaway. He's going to tuck the nose out and go for a dive down the inside. But again, it's really hard to hold that line. They're going to maybe get a little bit of contact there mid-corner, and that's very sketchy at 170-plus miles an hour.
Yeah, Silman's not letting off at all, and wow, comes sliding out of turn 2. And is going to just barely be able to get the move done. Great defensive driving by Silman in the 6, but here comes Perry looking to the inside again. Doesn't look like he's going to have much to say about it.
Been great racing here tonight, and very, very good racing up front, for sure. But Perry's going to have to wind up and try again, but he's real tight on corner exit, slips up right against that safer barrier. See Rick McBride trying to break the draft and keep Kohan away from him as we throttle off into turn 1 at 211 miles an hour.
Yeah, it's amazing how close these guys are together. It's pretty impressive how close they've been able to stick with each other.
And what about the aero push? I mean, you're not getting the best downforce, and these things don't have a lot of it. Look
speaking
at
of it,
loose.
wow.
And he's going to lose a spot here for sure. Actually, he's got enough gap that he might not, but he was really, really throttling on corner exit there, trying to get a run. And this early in the stint here, Finian, your tires are pretty equal with everybody. You've been doing what everybody else is doing, so the only advantage you can get is being on the throttle more, and that's what Kohan was trying to do there. Look at him still sliding.
Yeah, it looks like his tires are just kind of wearing a little bit, or they're just he's kind of pushing the car that much over the
pushing
limit.
It, yeah, I think that's what it is. I mean, we do have about 14 laps on the tires, so they're not fresh and new yet, but I have to imagine that Kohan's really just stamping on it right now, trying to get that car to go.
Yeah, and he's kind of out driving it, but we'll see this time does he appear a little bit calmer. Ooh, almost in the other direction there.
A post-it note between him and the safer barrier off of turn 2, but looks like they'll all make it through. Meanwhile, McQuistion in that number 93 been running pretty good lap times here, but kind of stuck in no man's land there between two different groups of cars.
Yeah, but still having a solid day in 9th again, hoping for more, but definitely where he needs to be at the moment. But caution is out on the track.
And that's the 56 car again, the 85, or actually the 72 of Jack Ritchie. And both these guys, that's their second incident for the day. Let's take a look here. And turn 2 again, going to be the demon for the 56 of Pelletier. Off of turn 2 now, and gets a little bit too much out of the groove. Just taps the wall, bounces twice, and hits the 72. And wow, look at Richie go for a ride. Does an incredible job, but it's just nothing he could do to keep it off the wall there, and hard impact for the 72.
Yeah, very tricky.
Yeah, sorry, I had to cut Finian off to tell him there or something, but Jack Ritchie pounds the wall there. Let's ride on board with him, see what that impact was like from the inside of the 72.
Yeah, what I was saying is that, yeah, it's just really hard to lock the car down because you're sliding at such a high rate of speed, and we'll see it here on the onboard.
And again, from his perspective, you can't see what that 56 is doing out there. He thinks he's all good coming off the corner, 180 miles an hour, all good, then just gets door slammed right here and heads straight towards the wall and does a great job downshifting, trying to fire the car off in the other direction, but you just can't beat physics in that situation.
I was going to say physics. Physics is a tough thing to beat, and unfortunately for Richie, he's going to have it in the wall, but just got word from race control. The 56 of Norman Pelletier is going to be parked for tonight for causing that second caution, or for causing a second caution.
Yeah, so Norman Pelletier, that is the second penalty he's received here this evening, and that will be it for him this evening. So Pelletier off track and will finish in 24th. Although he could still lose some spots because Zach Buchanan is about to pass him. And Buchanan just got a lap back, I believe, and around he goes.
Yeah, that's good news for him. That car doesn't look that damaged, honestly, just a little bit to the right rear. You see the race off pit road, many cars side by side with each other off the line, and some guys actually gaining some spots and losing spots as well.
Yeah, lots of changes, but Greg Evans loses 3 spots, comes out 4th. So Evans loses a bunch. Kohan keeps his 2nd place. Johnson moves up to 3rd, Silman to 5th. And look at McQuistion gaining a couple spots there. Number 93 up to 6th place.
Yeah, McQuistion up to 6th, Jet up to 7th. George loses even more positions. Now he's going to drop back to 8th. And biggest loser of all, I got to say, Gabriel Perry jumps all the way back to 11th.
Yeah. So again, I got to talk about Thomas George, though, at number 9. So far tonight, the pit stops have been abysmal for him. And it's been him sliding through the pit box. And you know, he's had the speed to be up front, but if he keeps shooting himself in the foot on these pit stops, it's going to be real hard to win. You don't have a lot of pit stops here this evening. You can't go to the end on fuel just yet, so you got to do at least one more stop for sure, and probably more than that. So Jordan's got to clean up these pit stops, or else he's not going to have any shot at the win. It's so hard to pass here in the early going in the run.
Yeah, you know, they say it every time. You can win and lose the race off of race on pit road. And it doesn't even really have to be with your pit crew. It's just you got to make sure you're get into your stall, and it really is hard definitely isn't easy getting to the stall in these cars. The brakes are horrible trying to get in, and you typically slide through, but you do have to anticipate that, and George was not able to, and he slid through his pit stall again. So unfortunately, he's going to drop back now to 8th, and he's going to have to overcome even more than what happened to him on the last caution.
Well, Rick Thompson and Ethan Kurtz are looking to get one of their laps back. Thompson will now be 3 laps down. Ethan Kurtz will be 22 laps down, so both those guys still got a long road ahead. There's no one right now that is 1 lap down. All the drivers that are back on the lead lap. Jack Ritchie has managed to keep it on the lead lap, but that car is not going to be very fast. That thing's beat up hell to high water, so that car's not looking too great. He's going to come in and get some service. Buchanan, that car's also pretty beat up, but still trucking away, trying to get at every point that he can, heading towards the chase.
Yeah, and right now it should be a lot easier to do that. Now he's actually on the lead lap. So he can.
What is Buchanan's issue with starting races like multiple laps down? Like if he could actually start a race and be on the lead lap the whole time, he'd be really good. But whether wrecks or hardware issues or whatever, he's been struggling to keep it on the lead lap in the first 50% of the race.
I'm sure he's probably he's definitely frustrated with that as well.
I'm sure he is.
Both again, and usually, I mean, it's pretty, not even usually. Every time, it's pretty much been something out of his hands that he's been put back multiple laps down. But it's just even more impressive the fact that he's able to recover from that and charge up towards the front. Although it'll be a little bit hard tonight to do that with the damaged car, but we'll see what he can do.
All right, well, Rhett McBride has gotten the lead away through that pit stop sequence, so it'll be the first time we've seen that number 5 out front in a little while, so we'll see what he can do on the restart. But again, Nick Kohan been pretty quick, and again, these guys were running 2nd and 3rd prior to the yellow. And I think that they're probably 2 of the fastest cars out there. And I mean, we keep saying that, but it seems like the guys that are fast week in and week out are the guys we keep seeing. It's not like every week we have someone that's a surprise up there. It's been pretty consistent with who's been good. And it looks like the 21 and the 5 are going to get the opportunity to show their stuff here coming to the restart. It'll be halfway at lap 50 for the Suicide Prevention 200 here at Michigan International Speedway.
And it looks like McBride's going to elect to take the top side as Evans did before. Cohen's going to start on the inside for a second time, and he got a really good start that last time by, so I wonder if he can do it again and maybe try to challenge even more into turn 1.
Well, if you look at your first 2 rows, the outside's Chevy, Toyota, Chevy, and the inside's Toyota, Ford, Chevy. So we got a pair of Toyotas on the bottom and a pair of Chevys up top, and you can be betting they'll be pushing each other. That's one thing we haven't seen a whole lot of yet, Finn, is pushing on the restarts. Is it more of an annoyance, or can it legitimately help you?
Yeah, I would say it's a little bit more of an annoyance. I really just want to have these things, have these guys kind of separated by a bit. You don't really want to have a bumper behind you, especially considering how round the front part of the nose is.
And it's something you see a lot in NASCAR, but the problem is that it really lifts the tires up off the ground and makes it for a pretty uncomfortable restart experience here. So lap 50, it'll be really about the 49% mark here. Lap 51 is our halfway point and the first 100 miles of this race. But off of turn 4, the pace car pulls off, and Rhett McBride in the outside lane, that black number 5, he's in control and fires off immediately and gets a much better restart this time than Greg Evans did last time, and out clears the 21 immediately, and that's going to bring Greg Evans with him, and Kohan will have to settle in 3rd.
Yeah, it looks like Kohan wasn't anticipating that at all, as McBride just completely shot out of a cannon as soon as the pace car dove in, and he's going to secure the lead.
Off of turn 2, the field front 5 or 6 is pretty sorted out. We got, wow, the 9 car almost got in the wall there, Finian, and that's got to be careful when you're back in traffic like that.
I think he did, or someone at least did get in the wall. I saw some sparks flying against the camera.
Brooks and John Martin side by side. There's Cardinale back there as well, trying to nurse a damaged race car. We got a lot of action mid-pack here. There's Silman on the outside of the 9. This is going to be for 6th spot. And look at everybody rooting and gouging for space. Look at Perry all the way down on the apron, bouncing over the bumps.
Yeah, it's a difficult place to try to get something done, but he's going to do it. You see, Culberson almost turned into him.
Well, that's one thing we mentioned here, Finian. It's a repaved surface here, but it's gone through a couple Michigan winters, and it's bumpy down there in the runoff area. You got to be careful. Wow, look at the 0-1. That's Rodden gets slidey off of turn 2, and there's the 9 car of George taking a look to the inside of Travis McQuistion off into turn 3.
Yeah, McQuistion got a good start. He was holding on to 5th now, but here comes George charging in the inside with a lot of pace in that car. And,
oh, wow, the 28 was loose off the corner. Look at the 9 all the way down to the inside. Pops back up above the line there, and look at Culberson being really aggressive on the inside of Jersky in the 69.
Yeah, he's going to try to charge on the outside. Jersky also doing well, but look at how tight this is. It looks like McQuistion's pretty much boxed in by 3 cars.
He's going to lose a bunch of spots here as Silman comes down the inside now with the head of steam.
He's going to get freight train from the guys on the inside line. He's going to cycle up back out towards Rich Jet.
They fire off into turn 3. Again, on the restarts, there's so much grip that everyone just sails Hail Mary into the corner. And once this is really where people have been gaining their spots tonight. Once they get strung out, it's easier to pass, but it's harder to catch people. So I think you got to, when they're close, you got to take your chance. And it looks like that's what Silman's doing here, trying to root and gouge for every little bit he can. But look behind him, Jersky and Culberson really fighting with each other for that bottom lane off of turn 2.
Yeah, Jersky's been doing an impressive job of holding people at bay. See Culberson get loose all the way through the corner. It almost gets into Perry, but gets it going. Look at how tight these guys are together. You see that no one's giving up any position.
The question is the sandwich here between the Ford of Silman and the Chevrolet of Rich Jet. They come off of turn 4, and here comes Jersky now looking for a spot. Look at Perry get tight off the corner.
Yeah, again, all really tight. All the cars in the top 11 here, but caution is on the track.
Derek Pemberton in the 81 spins off of turn 4. Heavy damage. That car is brutalized.
Yeah, he's got significant damage to his right front and the rear of that car. You know, he's going to pull down pit road immediately to get that car serviced, but we'll try to catch what happened there.
And there's the 81, kind of by himself. That's the 62 of Wilco there, I believe. Oh, what happened there? I looked away for 2 seconds.
Yeah, so did I. I didn't see. It looks like he just got loose and then violently turned the car.
Oh, yeah, he was already slipping and then overcorrected. Very similar to what happened to Buchanan earlier, but this one was thankfully relegated to a single car incident. Look at Richie dodging and weaving. He's been in the middle of a bunch of people's accidents today. None of them were his fault, but...
I was going to say, he probably got a flashback to what happened with him and Buchanan.
Yeah, again, let's ride on board here with the 81 and just take a look at his steering input here. And it's back to the right already, mid-corner, and he tried to save it, but just couldn't bounce off the wall, and Safer Barry grabbed him and whipped that car around, and so Pemberton's night went south very quickly.
Yeah, so unfortunate for him.
Wow, look at Rick Thompson go fly by there.
Yeah, so unfortunate for Pemberton. He's going to have to sit in pit road. I'm not sure if he has required repairs, but he's going to have to sit there for a while. It's already a lap down, it seems.
Sure, there'll be some required repairs for that car. That was a pretty heavy lick to the outside wall. But, all right, well, this race started out real green, and we've had some good runs here, but a lot of single-car incidents, people getting tight, people getting loose, kind of handling all over the board here tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it really just depends on how you drive it into the corner. And just the way you're driving throughout the track, if the way it could affect how you exit. You can exit with some oversteer, some understeer, and the whole 9 yards. But as we cut now to pit stop, we'll see who's going to take it.
I think everybody's going to come down to pit lane. That's what we've been seeing here tonight.
Ooh, looks
Silman
like
almost
yeah.
dodged it, but I think he's going to follow the status quo here.
Oh, and good thing he did, because it looks like every single car is going to come down.
Yeah, minus Rick Thompson, but he's still several laps down, so trying to take advantage of it. You know, the whole field peels on down.
Yeah, pit road's going to be a very busy place. See everyone now pulling into their pit stalls.
And if you watch on the left-hand side of the ticker there, that position that is shown shows their current order on the pit lane, but the position that's next to them is where they came into pit road. So you see Rich Jet popping out.
Yeah, he came out very fast. Or at least seemed like it was very fast, but it looks like everyone else is coming.
Four-tire stop. So, again, if you look at the left-hand side of your screen there, the yellow position number is where they came into pit road. And that's going to adjust. And so you see Silman there came in 8th. Is going to pop out in 8th.
Yeah, so he's going to come out where he was, but it looks like Jersky might have dropped some positions. Yeah,
Jersky's back in 11th spot now. So as they come out, they're going to update here, and they'll catch back up. But, all right, well, that sorts that thing out. And look at Rhett McBride still in the lead. Greg Evans will be second again. So now they can't exactly plan this out as nicely as they did before. They're going to have to be on opposite lanes here. So now if you got your teammate here on the outside and inside, Finian, what's the strategy? Do you take the outside? Do you take the inside? What's your move and why?
Let's see. Oh,
wow. What just happened there? Rich Jet out of control and spins under yellow, and the 93 of McQuistion involved.
It looks like Cardinale came through there, but he blinked.
There's a lot of cars blinking here.
Yeah. I don't know.
I wonder if the servers are going south on us.
Yeah, that was really weird, but yeah, I saw Cardinale.
Oh, everyone's going here, Finian. There is some weird stuff going on. Let's take a quick look at what happened. Oh, Cardinale was flying in the 22. coming back around here, Finian, and this has got to be a disconnect sort of issue.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
Destroyed Rich Jet. And
that was it. And several cars taken out in that.
But I'm not sure if they were hit. Johnston is off the track, and so is Perry, but I didn't see them get hit by something.
What a strange change of events.
Yeah, I'm trying to message Will Roberts, the admin for the league. He's sitting.
I'm sure he's busy right now.
Yeah,
we'll let him take care of what he's taking care of. But
I have but I'm completely baffled of what happened there.
There was definitely some kind of latency in the server because the 22 drove through everybody like they weren't even there. So I guarantee either he wasn't at control of that car or he didn't see those other cars. And when he plowed through, it took out 3 or 4. But Perry, Culberson, Johnson, Cardinale, Wilco, Ritchie, all off the racetrack. They were all out there a minute ago, and everyone was blinking and shuffling. So something really strange just happened there on the iRacing side of things. I'm curious to see what everyone thinks happened.
Yeah, well, we lost a lot of cars due to damage and
cars.
Yeah, and connection. Jet was having a fantastic day. He's got some damage to his car, significant damage. He's all the way back in 17th.
And Perry, Culberson, I think Perry and Johnston have all been disconnected because I don't think they were directly involved with that.
They were nowhere near that. So very, very strange turn of events. And Evan Adams, you missed a lot.
Yeah, I mean,
what just happened?
Well, you missed some great green flag runs early in the going. Let's do a little update here, Finian. The first 7 laps were all pretty clean. Then Zach Buchanan was involved in a wreck with Jack Ritchie. And then there was a couple other incidents later after we had about a 25-lap run. And then since then, it's been kind of off and off. Yellows here, single car incidents for the most part. But then this random chaos here that's collected about 7 or 8 cars under yellow here on lap 57. So a bizarre turn of events, and we'll just wait for updates as we get them.
Yeah, it looks like also Thomas George has some decent damage to his left rear. See the wings a bit dented up.
We'll run on board with Jersky here, and you can get a look at that number 9 car.
Decent. I wonder if he might have gone maybe the 28 Johnston or Perry were involved because they were around where George was.
But I wouldn't think they would disconnect like that unless they all F4'd. But I find that hard to believe. But caution just came back out here, Finian.
Yeah, this might be just to sort everything back out. But yeah, it's very, very confusing incident at the moment.
Well, again, when this kind of stuff happens, we can really just only speculate. So we're just going to shut up. We're going to wait for this to all get figured out, and we'll pass on the information as we receive it. Meanwhile, let's just update you on the current situation now that everyone's kind of been changed out here. The 5-car Rhett McBride and Greg Evans and the 21 and Nick Kohan probably been the 3 quickest cars here today. You could lump Silliman in there as well. And then, of course, the 28 of Timothy Johnson, who's currently off track, potentially disconnected or crashed. He was another very quick car here. So that's the update for the front runners here. And again, 77 of Rich Jet, who was collected in that incident, was also having a fantastic day. But let's take another look at some of the guys that potentially benefited. Look at Calvin Filarski in that 39. Involved in a wreck earlier in the day. And here he is with some slight damage, running 9th. So a top 10 run for Filarski again. I believe he finished 10th last week at USA. That was the first real good finish he's had in a long time. And the caution just flew again. So there's obviously some major organization going on here as we wait for everything to get sorted out. But again, Filarski having a good rebound so far. Tyler Dulger, another one that missed a couple wrecks today, doing well in 10th.
Yeah, Minto in 8th now, Rodden in 7th, and Jersky in 6th. So a lot of guys moved up some positions as some of the faster guys ran into some issues.
Liam Sheen having a decent run. That 83 car today kept it out of trouble so far. Don Runkle Jr. also having a nice day. And no damage on that car just yet, so that's always a good sign for that 00 Toyota. And you see Rick Thompson there again, started 4 laps down. He's gotten 2 of those laps back and is getting closer and closer to getting back on the lead lap. And Gabriel Perry, the number 13 Finian, is back out on track, and it looks like that was just a disconnect. And there's the 28 as well. So I'll bet you these guys are going to get waved back around and collect their spots back here. So
yeah, good break for them. You see them, I think, there they go. They're going to try to take their waves.
It's got to be a DC issue, I'm thinking, a server issue. That's why Cardinale drove through everybody. I think even potentially the server reported Cardinale's car's position totally wrong, and I don't even think Cardinale was even there on the racetrack.
Yeah.
So again, internet racing always has its quirks and features, but tonight definitely more quirks. And so we'll let these guys get themselves sorted back out. They got to come from a couple laps down. Actually, Gabriel Perry's already back in the lead lap.
Yeah, I think they were actually rather fortunate. I think they only needed 1 wave. Interesting.
Yeah, but I wonder about Culberson and Ritchie, because they were also involved.
Yeah, I don't know if they...
well, let's see if we get another...
able to join the server back. We'll see.
John Wilco is getting a wave there as well, in that number 60. 62. And looks like we're staying 1 to green here, but that's potentially going to get bumped up again. Well, if this stays 1 to green, we'll be going green with 40 laps to go. You still can't make it on fuel here, maybe unless you save a ton of fuel, but with how much we've been pacing already, I think you still got to come one more time. I also think it's likely we'll get another caution.
Yeah, definitely so, but we'll have to see. But so through everything, yeah. So okay, so we're getting an update from Evan Adams. Server disconnected for 7 guys. So yeah, it's pretty much confirming.
And we saw it was more than 7 guys. I mean, we saw the whole field blinking out, so there is certainly something going wrong. Of course, only 7 guys actually got physically disconnected, so thankfully it wasn't more. But it looks like Culberson is back in the server here, and he's 3 laps down now, and the caution flies again to get him back up. So there he is. And good call.
He rolled out of his pit stall and then disconnected, so he might have to be towing now.
Well, Jack Ritchie's back here as well, so it looks like the tides are beginning to turn for the guys that had bad luck. And here comes Andrew Cardinale now, but and no damage on that 22, at least more than he had. So obviously some major netcode issue there because he didn't plow through everybody like the server showed he did. Well, that's the weird one.
Yeah, very, very weird scenario, and only something could, again, that's kind of the limitations of sim racing. Have to rely on internet connection and things like these. Unfortunately happen sometimes. So, but nice that for fuel for getting everyone kind of sorted back out as best as they can. Looks like so. From the looks of it, Perry's going to be restarting in 16th, and Johnston's going to be restarting in 17th. Again, best that they can do, really, getting them back on the track. They can't entirely give them their position back, but they're at least going to be able to race for it back again.
Well, while we're doing this, Finney, I want to just update everybody about what the cause for this race is here tonight. It's the Suicide Prevention 200 here for the Rigshare Fuel Cup Series. Well, one of the other things we were mentioning is that this guy right here, Andrew Cardinale, has got the Suicide Prevention Lifeline phone number on his race car, and now that he's rolling around, a little hard to see. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to post this right now in the live chat. This is suicidepreventionlifeline.org, and there has all sorts of resources and information for mental health awareness and mental health issues. So please check that out and share that link around with all your friends. And again, the phone number 1-800-273-TALK. That is a National Suicide Prevention Hotline, and that is in the video description as well. So that's why we're racing here tonight, keeping that in our minds here as you see Culberson now catching back up to the tail of the field here. Not sure if he's going to get waved around. It looks like he will as we continue to sort the field out here with 40 laps to go. And while this is getting sorted out, we're going to jump to break real quick. We'll be right back once all the lineup is sorted out, and we'll bring it back to the green flag here in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back here to SimTV, and after the connection issues and a bunch of drivers getting disconnected, it looks like we're going to go back green here. We're on turns 3 and 4, and Rhett McBride in that number 5 car is going to take the outside lane. Pace car pulls off, so we are finally going back green here after a little bit of a chaotic caution. green flag flies, and the 5 takes off, and you see him clear the 2 with Greg Evans. I think that was all planned out, because we're going to nicely see these guys play along here. Nick Kohan drops to the inside, heading towards turn 1, but look at Adam Jersky back here on the inside of the 9. Got a great restart heading down to turn 1.
Yeah, he's wasting no time trying to take every advantage he can with his newfound position. He's going to move all the way up into 4th place.
And watch out, Tyler Dolger is almost middle 3 wide. The 83
Whoa,
is loose and hard impact into the wall. Passenger side, and he's going to smack that violently. And here comes Buchanan, just misses him. But the 83, a vicious impact into the wall. That is going to be a high G-force wreck, and that's going to be certainly night over for the 83.
Oh, and Cardinale's backwards, yeah.
Didn't see how that one started. But, wow, chaos already. Meanwhile, for the lead, we got to change. We saw what happened, so we'll keep it on the live so we can see what's going on. But you saw the 83 get loose there, corrected, and slammed the wall in turn 2. No caution. Cardinale spins in response to the smoke cloud there, and off of turn 2. McBride holds the lead from Greg Evans, but there was certainly a challenge there for a moment. Yeah,
it looks like actually, I think the 9 of Thomas George's pulled off the track because he was losing a lot of spots on that restart. It looks like he has a lot of damage from what happened, so he's going to sit there and try to fix that out. But unfortunate end for his day. But here comes Evans now charging back to get the spot back from McBride. He dives down low, and they're going to be side by side down the front straightaway.
All right, and while we're watching this action, I just want to share another little bit of information that Evan Adams has provided us from the chat, is that right now the NASCAR Peak Antifreeze Series race is going on, and they also had server disconnect. So it was a service-wide disconnect issue here. You see Greg Evans clear the 5 for the lead.
It's going to be very unfortunate for them, the guys in the Peak Antifreeze Series as well, but yeah.
Whoa, look at the 13 loose off the corner. And Buchanan's in the wall.
Oh, and he's loose a bit. It looks like he's going to save it. That could have been very bad for him. He's going to keep on soldiering on all the way up down to 14th. So he's having a decent day, all things considered. But here we have Evans ahead of McBride, able to make the move work.
These guys are dogging each other now. They're racing very aggressively. I think they know how tricky it is to pass here. And once that clean air becomes an advantage on the worn-out tires, that leader starts to pull away. So your opportunities dwindle as these laps tick off. And now you can pit from here on out and make it to the end. So I think the plan is for these guys to race as hard as they can until that next pit stop and then drive as hard as they can to the end. And look at Dolger back there, all the way back with McQuistion right on his tail, and they're going to be side by side down the back straight.
Yeah, McQuistion also another car with damage. He's riding in 11th, trying to get 10th away from Dolger. And it looks like Dolger is going to give it to him.
Yeah, McQuistion dives off in there and takes the spot away. Meanwhile, the leaders, the front 3 grouped up. That's the 2, the 5, and the 21. They've been consistently the quickest here today. Look at Nick Kohan staying all the way at the bottom. Ooh. Almost gets alongside the 5 into turn 1. Here he goes.
Yeah, it was a very late merge behind him. Able to pull it off. And here he goes to the inside of McBride. They're going to be side by side as they come out of 2. With Evans right in front of them. So here we have a 3-way battle for the lead.
Tricky spot to complete a pass here, but he'll tuck back in line, try to get another run at it. It's certainly looking aggressive for that orange number 21. Look at Dolger. I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was... We got to get a look at that. Yeah, we'll look from high above here to see what happened to Dolger, but that was an elevator top to bottom move, and I'm not sure if he did it on purpose or if it was just he was loose. And looks like... just bounced off the wall and woo! Slid all the way down the racetrack. So a little bit of contact shouldn't hurt him too bad.
A great save by him, but as we cut back to what's happening up towards the front.
Let's quickly take another look at Brandon Minto alongside Calvin Filarski. Look at Filarski running 6th. Had some right side damage to that car. You see Nick Kohan popping out, looking for the spot, but as we jump back, Filarski's having a good run. Look at Gil Brooks rebounding nicely for 7th.
Yeah, again, another driver taking advantage of that with a clean car now compared to the guys around him. He's trying to take as much of advantage as he can. From that, he's going to try to get around Minto and then look towards Filarski ahead, but the 0-1. Yeah, he's in the wall. Yeah, he's going to lose a lot of spots.
Yeah, people are trying to get as much as they can get right now. Another Tim Silman off track again, 6 laps down, Finian. Pretty brutal for the 6. I mean, he's had a rough stretch of races with getting DNFs. Didn't catch why that happened. That's the second time we've missed it. He just slowly slips under the radar when he gets involved in wrecks like this.
Yeah, a lot of action going on and off the track. Is, you know, Minto trying to get the spot back from Brooks, and Brooks actually, both of these guys are able to get around Filarski with that damaged car. So that's going to move Brooks all the way up to 6th, or sorry, 5th, yeah, 5th place. So solid day for that 71.
We'll watch this battle here for a moment.
Yeah, you see now all these guys trying to right single file, and Flarski trying to get around Brooks again, but he's, again, with that damage to his that nose of that car, it's definitely going to be hurting him.
Yeah, Brooks running really nicely, and again, let's take a look at Nick Kohan. He's running pretty quick, quickest car on the racetrack last time through here, Finian, and looking to get a spot away from that number 5.
Yeah, he's been going at it these last few laps, really close, just not able to get it done. He might actually have a shot here. They're going to barely be side by side, but yeah, McBride has the run off the corner, and that's going to help him prevail.
Greg Evans is slowly starting to slip away in that he's getting smaller and smaller out the windshield of that number 21.
Yeah, but I think part of that is going to be due to these two guys going at it. So we'll see if they can get single file, but Kohan definitely doesn't want to be single file. He wants to get second place.
And meanwhile, we're going to try to grab Will Roberts here, and he's one of the admins of the league, to explain the situation here. There's Will Roberts. Will, give us a little update on the situation that just happened on that last caution. I do not have Will's... Oh, I know what, because I haven't asked him to talk yet. Hey, Will Roberts, there you are. Give us a little update on what happened there on that last caution with all the disconnects.
All right. It seems that there was a non-isolated incident on the servers, on the iRacing servers, which caused a substantial amount of guys in our server, as well as some other high-profile servers, to disconnect. And we just found, in fairness for competition purposes, the best course of action was, for points purposes, to go ahead and call the race where it was before things started to go haywire. However, we still came out to put on a show, so we're still running the rest of the race, putting on a show for what we can.
All right, so just to clarify that, as you're watching the action here on track with the number 2 and the 5 and the 21, the race was called at the lap that last caution came on for competition purposes. Is that correct?
Really? Yes, we are going with... excuse me. We're going with the order that the cars came off of pit road. Right before that happened, that is where we are going to call the race for points purposes.
All right, thanks a lot, Will, for the update. And again, I'll pass it along to Finian here. He doesn't have his earbuds in, so I'll fill him in. But big implications there for the finishing order and the rest of this race. So thanks again for filling us in, Will. And we'll talk to you later.
Of course. Thank you.
All right, so Finian, what that entails here is that the race, for competition purposes, the race completed as the order that they... Oh, look at the 5 out of control, and you know what? I was about to say this matters, but it doesn't, because the order that they came off of pit road in the last caution is the order that the race will finish. So that is, the race is complete. We're just running this out for fun at this point and having a good time doing it, because the action's really good. But again, the race is complete. The race finishing order, again, is already decided on the how they exited pit road prior to that caution. So that is going to be what we're going to go with here. And again, we'll get you the full finishing order here as soon as we can to update everybody on who actually won the race. I can't remember if it was the 5 or the 2 who came off in what order. So again, we'll have to get that updated information. But for one last time, because of the server issues that have been system-wide on iRacing, this race is complete for points and fairness purposes, and everyone else that's out here right now just running for fun on lap 76.
Yeah, I think good call all around. I mean, because so many guys, very competitive cars too, were taken out of taken out of competition from that, and that's a thing that happened out of everyone's hands. No one could have affected that. So
I like the call. It was a good call, very very safe, fair call. But again, that leaves us with about 25 laps to go here to wrap up. Wow, look at the cushion sliding off the corner.
You can tell that everyone's racing it like...
I was going to say how much harder everyone seemed like they were driving, and it was a little bit interesting. But you see Filarski now trying to hold off Brandon Minto as they race side by side in 3 and 4. Again, the finishing order complete here today. We'll get you an updated list. If you can actually ask Will or PM Will to give us a finishing order if possible. I don't know if he has that available yet, but we'll get that updated information for you and pass that along as soon as we know. Meanwhile, out on the racetrack, Greg Evans has pulled out to a 4/10 of a second lead over Nick Kohan in that orange number 21. You'll have to look another 1 second back to 5. Oh, we got one sliding off the corner there, Finian. It's Brandon Minto. No, it's the 72 of Jack Ritchie, and saves it down there on the runoff there. And we'll pull back up on the racetrack. He's had his fair share of of using off all the runoff here tonight. Let's get a look.
Ooh, yeah, just really loose off the corner, just the way his car was, and then hit the wall, went sliding almost to the inside wall.
Yeah, I want to look at that from above. That was certainly cool looking. I'm sure he disagrees. Wow, man. Try sliding across 20 lanes of traffic and saving your car at 180 miles an hour, and tell me how you fare. Well, meanwhile, Gabriel Perry and Timothy Johnson, two of the guys that were affected by that DC, are running very well right now. And I think the 72 of Richie is pulling off the racetrack. Or did he get loose again? I think he's pulling off, but head back up to the front. Greg Evans now 0.6 of a second, and let's start taking a look at the lap times. And that time through a 40.098 to Nick Kohan's 40.073. So that means that the 21 is closing, but just a little bit. And I think they're pretty stagnant here with 21 laps to go.
Yeah, pretty much so. I thought it kind of looked like Kohan was able to, or looked like he was going to be able to chase him back down, but it doesn't look like at the moment. Again, these guys should be expecting one more pit stop. This is going to be now a matter of when they do come in.
Yeah, I don't think you can go 43 laps on fuel here. I'd be pretty surprised if they did. We have had a significant number of caution laps, but I still don't think that that's a likely scenario here. Maybe not. We could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain they'll be down there one more time.
Yeah, I'm sure at least someone's going to try that with considering the pretty much this is for fun at this point. Someone's going to try to drive up through here, and actually here comes Calvin Filarski.
And I don't think that's new damage, so I think he's down here on pit lane just for the fuel situation. We'll see if he just gasses up for a second and takes off, or if he'll take tires as well. And pops up the right side, and maybe just a 2-tire stop for the 39.
He actually, I think, exited out of his car, so I'm not sure if he's coming back.
Oh, no, left side's pop up.
Well, yeah, he's not sitting in his car, though. And, yep.
Interesting.
So
I didn't even notice that he wasn't in the car. Well, all right. Well, the 39 of Filarski is going to have a disappointing... Well, actually, I shouldn't say that, because we don't. He might finish a lot better than that. So, people dropping like flies here. Thompson, Ritchie, Buchanan, Wilco, George, Silliman, Cardinale, Sheen, Culberson, Richjet, Pemberton, Pelletier, Kurtz, and Bliss all off the racetrack. And, Finian, I think that explains why Silliman was off track. Because I think that was just night over for him, and I think he just decided once the finishing order was laid out, he didn't need to be here any longer. So that explains why the 6 car was off track when we were so confused. But now as we work 20 laps to go, now 19 to go, Greg Evans has a 0.8 of a second lead, so has picked up the pace a little bit, and Kohan is struggling to keep up in that number 21 car. And again, we drive off into the corner with the gyro cam. You can see how much the banking helps you, and as the line goes up the racetrack, you're going to get higher and higher up. And Finian, one of the things about places like Dover, Michigan, and these big 2-mile tracks is the difference in elevation, because they're so wide from top to bottom. It's like 3 or 4 stories, so you can run down the hill if you choose that bottom lane, but if you're along the top, you're just going to try to use that wider radius and momentum to your advantage. See Kohan exiting turn 4, now closes in a couple tenths that lap.
Yeah, just trying to close in, and I think really it's going to come down to pretty much a pit stop for them if they do decide to make it to get him back in this. Otherwise, I really don't see him driving it down. But, I mean, it could be wrong. He could just be saving his tires at the moment.
Well, the quickest car on the racetrack last time through was the 5 of Rhett McBride of 40.092 to the leader's 40.271. And so in order of the speeds they were running, McBride was the quickest, Kohan was second, and Greg Evans was third of that group. So McBride's coming in that number 5 car. Heading now to 17 laps to go, and Evans maintains his lead. Closest battle on the racetrack right now is going to be for this front pack of cars. And 210 on the front straightaway. Look at Kohan all the way up against that wall. Let's right on board the nose cam here and watch his line around the racetrack. Gets real close to that wall off the corner. I mean, he doesn't exit that high, but he just lets the car drift out to the wall.
I was going to say, there was a little bit of a wiggle there, so that kind of sent him up towards the wall really close, and it actually looks like he's closing in a bit.
Yeah, 0.4 of a second now.
Yeah, so he closed in 0.2 the last time they went by the line, so we'll see this time the lap time is definitely going to be a lot closer. That car looks a lot bigger.
Looks like we have an unofficial result over there, Finian.
Yeah, so, alright, so we'll go through it from the looks of it.
It's going to be McBride as the number 5 car. He'll be your winner tonight. Again, the reason why we're listing the unofficial results now is because of the server disconnect issues. The race was called, and the winner will be that number 5, Rhett McBride.
Yeah, and then the rest of the top 5, we'll say at the moment. The rest of it's kind of getting sorted out, but we'll be in second place, Greg Evans in the 2, and then in third, the 21 of Nick Kohan, followed by...
Oh, Kohan!
Whoa, wow, Hardlick!
69
with
of Jersky,
yeah.
And that'll throw the caution, and the 21 bails to pit road, but speeding now, so he'll have to serve a penalty. But Jersky and the 21 involved in a hard collision, and again, we'll get that updated order here in just a moment, but here's a look at what just happened. Adam Jersky in the 69 and the 21 of Nick Kohan. Again, none of this matters because we're already determined in terms of the finishing order here, but we're certainly going to set up for an interesting finish. See, Jersky just gets into the right rear there, and again, he's a lap down, so no need for that really, but Kohan obviously tangled up in that mess. So that's going to create an interesting scenario here for the end. But all right, let's get that unofficial order listed out here for the top 5.
Yeah, so like we were saying, in first will be Rhett McBride, and second will be the 2 of Greg Evans, and third will be the 21 of Nick Kohan, and fourth will be the 28 of Timothy Johnson, and rounding out the top 5 will be the 9 of Thomas George.
Yeah, so that is your unofficial results. We're still going to let things get sorted, so it's not official yet. But let's stay out on the racetrack here because the rest of these guys are just out here for fun at this point. And as the pace car leads down onto the front straightaway, the rest of the field's going to peel off and head down to pit lane to get some tires and fuel. But look, there's someone staying. Oh, well, that's Delger's on that lead lap car. Never mind. But we're going to head down to pit lane, and you see Filarski there in the pit box getting service, but jumped out of that car. He's done for the day. Needs to help his crew push the car behind the wall, but... All right, so 2 tires, 4 tires, no tires. What's your call here, Finian? It doesn't really matter, so it's kind of a... Go for it, right?
I would say some guys probably going to try some 2 tires, maybe guys towards the back end of the field. Just to put a call out there, we'll see. Looks like everyone's going to have the left sides jump up.
I see...
Here comes
Evans.
Evans.
The 28 car got a great stop there, Finian.
Yeah, Johnson's going to come out second. It's going to be McBride in third, and Minto in fourth. And then how about the 0-1 of Justin Rodney? He's going to be up into fifth.
All those guys took 4 tires, but yeah. Interestingly enough, that changes the running order here a little bit. I still think the car to beat is going to be the 2 and the 5, and they're going to be probably lined up with each other for the restart. Yeah,
definitely. So I think he's gonna pretty much be the car to beat. I would have said it would be the 21 of Kohan, but unfortunately Kohan's gonna call it a day as it is now for this race to the end.
Yeah, that car was totaled.
Yeah.
But he will pick up a 3rd place unofficial result here after the disconnect issues. So Kohan certainly not upset about this night. 3rd place finish, not bad. We were supposed to talk to him tonight as an in-race reporter, but never got the chance to, so I have to postpone that for next week's race. Looking from high above Michigan International Speedway here for the Suicide Prevention 200, presented by the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series. And we've had quite a bit of action here tonight. The race started off great. We had a 7-lap run. Buchanan gets involved in a wreck. We had about a 20-lap run, and we had another really long green flag stint. And then a couple quick succession yellows, and then server dropped on everybody and kind of put a damper on the race about lap 60, 65 or so. And that is where we're going to cut the race and finish the running order. The rest of the race here, just for fun, just for funsies, and the rest of the field out here, there's 14 cars still on in the server. There's 10 still on the racetrack, and I think that's going to create for a very, very interesting final 11 or so laps here.
Yeah, we're pretty much going to see everyone go balls to the walls at this point, considering nothing is really going to change at this point, so everyone's going to be going out the win. But again, how about the 85 of Brandon Minto all the way up into 4th place now? So we'll see if he is going to do something.
All right, so Greg Evans will have the lead for the restart. And all right, so now let's take a look at your competition here, Finian, because if we're going to look at how you want to line this race up, you're going to want to be in line with your teammate, but do you put the 28 on the outside here? Because that's really probably the preferred lane coming off of turn 2. And I think the 28 has been pretty good on restarts today. So if you're the 28, do you block, or excuse me, if you're the 2, do you block the 28 or do you run with the 5 and try to get that push?
Honestly, I wouldn't even go pick a lane for that, I would say probably take the outside lane so that way you have Minto behind you. It's not really trying to bag against Minto, but that puts Johnston behind someone. Sorry, it puts McBride kind of behind Johnston, so he won't be able to get as good of a start, and then that leaves Evans to get a better start over those other two guys. So those are his two main threats at the moment.
Right.
So.
Is it? Do you choose your teammates or do you choose the victory here? And I think we're seeing the teammates chosen. Interesting. I think they're planning on racing it out together. They have been the quickest cars of the remaining group here. Johnston's been a little bit slower than this. If we look at their lap times, Finian, McBride and Evans, their best times are within 1/1000th of each other. A 37.791 to a 37.792 give the advantage to McBride, who is your race winner. And Timothy Johnston, his best time is a 37.828, so just a little bit slower. Again, kind of false numbers here because the draft plays in such a big advantage, but we head off of turn 2, and we're going to have a 11-lap sprint to the finish here to determine the end of this fun little ending here to Michigan International Speedway and the Suicide Prevention 200. It's really more like the Suicide Prevention 130-ish? 110. More or less. 110. 60, 125.
Yeah,
we'll go with that. But the other 75 miles here, just for fun, as Greg Evans will lead down Timothy Johnson, Rhett McBride, Brandon Minto, and Gabriel Perry back to a green flag here with 11 laps to go. All right, who you got your money on, Finian?
I gotta say, I think I'm gonna pick the 5 of Rhett McBride. He's been looking strong all night.
He already won the race. That's an unfair pick. I picked the 2 car, Greg Evans.
All right, well, at the moment he's in 3rd and Evans is in 1st, but they're gonna start green flags back in the air. Evans gets a fantastic start, and McBride's gonna kind of follow through there. It looks like Johnson got a good start on the outside.
I got a good start, but I don't know if he's going to have a good enough flag. Oh, he does. Okay, never mind. He beats the 5-car Dolphin to turn 1, and side by side behind him is Gabriel Perry and Brandon Minto. And then you have Justin Rod and John Martin behind them as well. And look at Perry sliding off the corner, bounces off the wall just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it's not going to stop him at all. He's going to secure 4th place at the moment, looking to charge up even more.
And meanwhile, Evans is shot out of a cannon, 0.4 of a second lead. But does Johnston or McBride have anything for him now coming to 10 to go?
I don't know. It really depends. I mean, he's going to drive his hardest pretty much. He's got nothing to lose at this point, so we'll see as time tells. And I think he's going to close in a bit with the draft at help, but again, with considering how the way these cars drive on new tires, the fact that they're so single line, it's going to be kind of hard to get it done.
Off of turn 2 now. Evans leads. Johnson and McBride are going to be battling for second, and if they hold each other up too much here, Finney, it's going to let that 2-car of Evans drive away. So maybe a little bit of team strategy here for the guys that aren't even teammates.
Yeah, pretty much. I'm pretty sure these guys are going to try to run it single file out so they can at least have a chance at the win here at the end. And it looks like they're staying like that at the moment.
I can't wait for the 2019 NASCAR Cup Series package to see how it affects racing at a track like this.
Yeah, I was actually thinking about that too during the race. The fact that with that gigantic wing, if anyone has seen it, it's a huge wing that's going to be in the back.
8-inch wing.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be the 6-inch one. No, it is a gigantic 8-inch
size matters here. I'm just saying. Size matters.
Yeah, but it's going to punch a huge hole in the air. You got to imagine, especially with the focus on more downforce for next year. You see McBride now look to the outside. Don't think he's going to have too much to say here.
Well, they've actually caught up a 10th here, Finney, and so as we come to 8 to go, they've made up a little bit of ground. So I think they should just keep doing what they're doing because it's working out for them.
Yeah, but quickly recap what I was just saying. I think, honestly, it might start turning into a plate track almost. Not by design, so that'll be interesting to see how the new cars come.
Tapered spacer track.
Yeah.
That doesn't roll off the tongue quite as nice.
No, it does not. But
well, the top 3 are just throttled down right now, pushing and shoving. Look at the 28 blocking a little bit down the back straightaway. McBride tucks up underneath that rear spoiler and gives him a little arrow push, but we head now to 7 to go, and the gap is 2.5 of a second between Evans and Johnston.
Yeah, these in second and third are closing in by about a 10th a lap here. We'll see if this time by as they come across the stripe. A little bit slower by the two guys. So interesting to see the kind of going back and forth here. But I'd say overall, it looks like they're closing in.
Do they have anything for Evans? And once you get there, can they pass him? It's been so tricky. Look at them tight off the corner, almost bouncing off the wall. But can they get by him here, Finian? You're going to have to get real creative with your line.
I was going to say, they'll definitely get by him. Will probably not be clean in any way, shape, or form, but they'll get by him.
All right, off of turn 4 again. Can they make up any ground this time? I mean, Evans has been so strong on the long run. One of the quickest cars on the long run. Really, the two best ones on those longer runs have been the 2 and the 21. Obviously, the 21 caught up in a late race wreck with the 69 of Adam Jersky. But as we work our way through turns 1 and 2, a little bit quicker that time. But I don't know if it's enough here, Finian. We're coming to 5 to go. Time is beginning to run out as you see the 5 car get real close to that safer barrier.
Yeah, they're going balls to the walls at this point, throwing everything at it. And actually, it looks like McBride lost some time to Johnston. Yeah, but Johnson looks like he's going to be right there now, coming to 5 to go.
He's going to be about 2/10 behind, and that's really within probably the strongest draft region here. You still have a little bit of air on the nose, but you'll also get the advantage from the draft. You see them kind of chasing each other down on the front straightaway. 5 laps to go here at Michigan.
And you can see that McBride's kind of backed off of this. He's kind of throwing in the towel, it seems. For the moment, looks like it's going to be pretty much Johnston who's going to have the say in this. But again, it's just a matter of can he catch up to Evans and then do something with it. He's so close, but just a little bit too far at the moment.
We switch to Timothy Johnson's on board, heading down off into turn 3. Closes up on entry here, but this is going to hurt his exit.
Yeah, it depends on what kind of lines they're going to take. Looks like Johnson's just half a lane higher than Evans on exit.
And has to withhold from that throttle just for a half second longer to keep that car turned off the wall. And last time through, 9/1000ths of a second slower than the leader. So he's still got some work to do here if he wants to get there. See him turning, trying to get it down, but again, the banking here not quite enough to hold the lines that you want to take if you want to diamond that exit.
But it looks like he closed in there this time, but it looks like he closed in quite a bit actually. But again, it looks like Evans is a little bit stronger in 3 and 4 compared to Johnston. But we'll see as they come through this time by.
Well, that's a corner that's going to matter here is we're going to have 3 to go. And Johnson's doing everything he can in that 28 Amsoil Camry to catch Greg Evans in the 2. Gets a good exit there. Quicker for the 28.
Yeah, so he's closing in again little by little, but coming to 3 to go. He's really got to start moving now.
All it's going to take is one mistake by Evans, one little bobble, and that's going to put him right in the clutches of that 28 car. You see, Evans was a little bit timid through the corner there, and it gives Johnson a big run down the back straightaway. You see the gap closing there, heading off into turn 3. Will be coming to 2 to go. Does Johnson have anything for Greg Evans now with 2 laps left in this race?
Well, this is the closest he's been to him this run, so if he's gonna do something, he's gonna have to do it now.
He's got some air on the nose. He was a little bit lower in the corner that time through. He's about 1/10 away here. He's here, Finian. What can he do driving off into turn 1? 210 miles an hour for the leaders, heading off into the corner. And Johnson is there. What can he do?
I think maybe a bumper or 2. I'm curious though if he's gonna try to wait for the last lap, and it looks like he's gonna actually sit there for this lap this time by.
Can you afford to wait to the white flag lap? Can you afford to make one mistake that gives up the opportunity here? But he's gonna go for it, I think. Driving off into turn 3, can he get the nose down underneath the 2? He's going to be right in his arrow shadow here, so he's not going to get the downforce he needs to get this car rotated. As we come to the white flag here at Michigan, one final lap to go. Greg Evans and Timothy Johnson separated by 1/10 of a second, and Evans gets a slow run off the corner. Here comes Johnson to the inside.
I think Johnson's best bet is going to be sending it into turn 1. So we'll see.
3. He might try to get a good run through here and try to just send it underneath him heading into turn 3. But there's not a whole lot of braking here, not a lot of speed differential. He's going to have to get really creative as we head off of turn 2.
It looks like he's closing in as they go onto the back straightaway, so we're going to see, does Johnson have enough? He's closing, but as they enter turn 3, here we go.
Half a car width. I don't think he's going to have enough to send it, but he's going to try it. He's going to certainly try. He's going to get that car rotated down to the bottom. You see him slipping here just a little bit, wheeling that car off of turn 4.
Yeah, but it's not going to be enough, and it looks like Greg Evans is going to cross the stripe in first.
Not a win, we should mention.
Yeah, that's why I chose my words nicely. Yeah. Johnson in second, McBride in third, and actually Gable Perry sliding through the grass in fourth.
Slides up the racetrack, bounces off the wall, but Perry will, again, crosses line 4th.
And then Gale Books will round out the top 5 for the, I guess, finishing order, air quotes on that.
Again, the finishing order was determined back on lap 65 or 66 because of the internet issues here. Let's take a look at what happened to the 13. I wanted to see how he crossed the line because it was certainly exciting. And Perry just got out of the groove here, up into the marbles. Oh, no. Just crossed it for fun, sliding across the start-finish line. And the beautiful grass effects flying through the air. And slides back up onto the racetrack. But again, Johnston gave it everything he had there, Finian, and really, really tried. You could see him really working the wheel. Let's ride on board with him through the final corners. He had that wheel cranked. He was giving it all the throttle he could give it. Comes up off the corner.
Yeah, great job though, all things considered. You could have done a lot more considering this was pretty much an unofficial race at the end there, so he could have done anything and it wouldn't have mattered towards him, but nice job on him trying to keep it as clean as possible, just doing it on pure driving effort. You could just see him giving it his all, but it was just a little bit, it wasn't enough, and Evans is going to cross the stripe first.
All right, well, we're going to cut back to the leader now of the actual race because...
Oh, boy. A lot of people. Everyone's sliding all over the place.
Well, the winner of the race is the number 5 of Rhett McBride. Remember, he was out in front after the pit stops prior to that issue we had with the internet. So Rhett McBride is your winner. We're not going to show you the race results here because ATVO captures only the race victory. We don't have lap data. So we're not going to show you the race results here. We'll read them out to you, at least the top 10 here in a little while. And again, you can find full race results and point standings in the video description. I need to post that link, actually. It's not there right now. But I will post that link as soon as I can with the official race results and the point standings update. And we'll be right back with your race winner and a couple others. Stay with us. Welcome back live here to Sim TV. We're here with race winner Rhett McBride, and Rhett, that was a wild one, and you ended up finishing technically third, but first also because of the way the servers didn't want to cooperate tonight. So tell us about A, how your race went, and B, tell us about the chaos of what was rolling through your mind there when all that was going down.
Yeah, it was a crazy night. I mean, the racing up front, it was good. The first stint there, I kind of went to school because you really had to keep the right front on it, and I kind of cooked the right front off of mine and was terrible in the long run. But then after the first couple of pit stops, I started, figuring out what I needed to do. And once I got to the lead and fresh and clean air, I felt the car felt great. I was able to keep from burning the right front off. And, it was just one of those things. I kind of hate to get, well, I'll take them anyway I get them, I guess. But, you kind of don't like to get wins that way. I wish we could have run it the whole way. But, I think over half the field got either damaged or got kicked, when they had the server issues, and we were past halfway on laps. So I guess right place at right time. But we were up front all night, so I don't feel too bad about it. I mean, I'd gotten the lead and was leading laps and felt like we were putting ourselves in a position for the long run anyway. So, I'll take it.
Well, certainly a win is a win is a win. And as we look towards the playoff picture here, Rhett, you've been consistently one of the quickest cars, but in recent weeks, you started out the season real strong. And in recent weeks, you started to get that speed back. So as we look towards the playoff picture, are there any races that you have highlighted, anything you're particularly looking forward to in terms of the ovals left on the schedule?
They're all pretty good. I mean, I like the tracks that we have coming up. And really, the beginning of the season was most of the question marks, because a lot of those places I'd never been in a cup car, which was a lot of fun. I mean, I enjoyed racing there, but all the tracks that are left, we're pretty decent there, so it should be fun. I mean, the guys that are running up front, week in and week out, I think we all have a lot of respect for each other, and the racing in the top 10 or so has been really good. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this season plays out. It's been a lot of fun.
All right, right. Well, certainly a good victory for you tonight. And again, you'll take them as you can get them. And certainly not didn't really luck into it. You put yourself in that position. So a well-earned victory, in my opinion, there, Rhett. So congratulations on that. And hopefully we'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, Kyle. I appreciate it, man.
All right, have a good one.
Later.
All right, so that was Rhett McBride. That was your race winner. Again, it shows him as third, but that's where he finished at the end of the race. Again, the positions were all a little bit messed up. But now let's talk to second place finisher Greg Evans. And again, this is going to be a little bit out of order because Evans technically ended up winning the race. But Greg, a wild night because of the disconnects and everything. We just talked to Rhett McBride about all that. But from your perspective, what was the racing like tonight? Because it was certainly entertaining out up front.
Yeah, it definitely was. It was a really good race. We swapped the lead a couple times. Nick started getting up there. A lot of clean racing up front, which was pretty nice, and a lot of green flag laps until the halfway point where we had that server crash and everything. But from what I hear, it was pretty much iRacing. Everybody was racing, and I kind of had some difficulty with it. So, but the racing was great though.
Yeah, and I know everything after really lap 65 or whatever it was, what didn't count for points or anything. But let's just talk about that last couple laps there with Timothy Johnson, because he caught you from a couple tenths back and almost had you diving off into turn 3. What was going through your mind those final 2 laps?
No, it was more just having fun. Now that was 10 laps to go there, I kind of was just running qualifying laps and really wasn't planning on saving any tires, and so I burnt the right front up pretty quick, and I was pulling away from him for about 3 or 4 laps, and then all of a sudden it just kind of got tight on me, and I seen him coming, so I kind of started backing off a little bit and trying to save the right front and cool it down, and the right rear, and just had enough. And racing Timothy's always a good time, man. He races you clean, and just racing with him's a lot of fun. So glad we could beat him, but it was more for fun. But it was also just a good race.
All right, Greg. Well, certainly not a bad result for you either way in the actual position you're going to finish in terms of the points, and at the end of the night, the end of the 100-lap race. So congratulations on a second-place finish and a win in the unofficial ending to it. That was a fun night.
Yes, sir. Just think duct tape, Sure Tape, T-Rex tape, Sim Marketing Solutions, Kirkwood Transportation, and I Can't Design. They make it happen for us this year, here and other places, and just thank those guys a lot.
All right, Greg. Thanks for talking to us. Have a good night. We'll talk to you next week.
Thank you, sir. Have a good one.
All right, now we're going to talk to third place finisher Nick Kohan. And Nick, I'm sure you're looking back at this, you're actually glad it finished where it did, because you were involved in a pretty hard wreck there at the end with a lap car. But tell us about your night, because you were very, very fast again. We've seen your speed in recent weeks be just unbelievable, and you're certainly due for a win in the Cup side of things.
Yeah, I think we would have had a shot at it if the rains didn't come. If we had some long runs, I felt like I was pretty good in the long run, but it just didn't work out that way, obviously. But it was a lot of fun, though. The setup was really it was loose, but it was it was drivable. You could drive it off the corner a little sideways, and this new scan here at Michigan is pretty fun. So I'll take third. I need to just keep getting as many points as I can if I'm not going to win, because we're a little deep in the points from all the bad luck in the beginning. But slowly chipping away at it. Had the speed tonight, but Steelhorse Racing was extremely fast tonight. Every car tonight was fast, so it was going to be hard to pass Greg and Red up there, and Thomas. They were fast. So, like I said, we'll take third. That's solid. We had a good halfway finish too. So.
All right, Nick. Well, again, you've been quick in recent weeks, but as we look forward towards the rest of the schedule, is there anything you have circled, anything specific that you're looking at and saying I can win there? Or I mean, because you've been so fast everywhere recently, but you got to have one circled.
Darlington's a little tough. I've had some really bad luck there, and I've had some races where I felt really fast too. Indianapolis is one of my favorite tracks. Again, another track with some bad luck, but Indianapolis is definitely the track I'm looking forward to in the next couple of weeks here before the chase starts or fuel final starts. But once the finals start, I'm really looking forward to Pocono, Atlanta, and stuff like that. So just Darlington, we just got to try and make it through there because there will be a lot of carnage there. The running up by the wall like that seems to cause a lot of crashes a lot. So just got to stay out of trouble there. And I think we'll be pretty good at Indy. So just got to keep plugging away here.
All right, Nick, thanks for talking to us. And hopefully we'll talk to you again next week. Have a good one.
Yep. Thanks, guys.
All right, we're going to jump to break real quick to sort a couple more things out before we round out the evening. We'll be right back. Stay with us. We're not done quite yet. All right, welcome back. We're wrapping up here tonight at Michigan International Speedway. Well, a couple more things we have to get out of the way here. Rich Jet, your Hard Charger Award once. I feel like he's won this a couple times this season. I don't remember off the top of my head, but let's take a look at where he started, because he started all the way back in 24th, and I believe he's finished in 7th place. How many fingers is that? Is your thumb count?
Yes. And what place on your finger?
I don't know. You're holding up that. I don't know if a thumb's a finger. Anyway, 7th place for Rich Jet. So 24th to 7th, a big improvement for Rich. And again, he's had a great couple weeks. The pace is really coming to that team. So looking really strong. And Rich Jet, great run, and gets the Unreal Esports Media Hard Charger Award here tonight. And Finny, we got some things we have to take care of here in regards to points and finishing order.
Yeah. So first we'll just go through the top 10 in the finishing order. This is subject to change, as unofficial, as they do have to officially go through and place everyone. But at the moment, we do know that Rick McBride is the winner, followed by the 2 of Greg Evans. Then we have the 21 of Nick Kohan, 28 of Timothy Johnson, 9 of Thomas George. Then we have the Christian, the 77 of Rich Jet, the 6 of Tim Silman, the 1 of Dwayne Culberson, and the 13 of, I'm trying to remember who was in the 13.
Gabriel Perry.
Gabriel Perry. So that will round out our top 10 here. And as we finish with that, I think it's time we talk about the points, what the actual playoffs ensue.
Yes.
So for the fuel finals, as it's called, these guys do a very interesting twist on the playoff format that NASCAR introduced in 2015. So the way it's going to work is 10 drivers will qualify based on wins. So we have a few drivers locked in at the moment. But the rest will be sorted out by points. And then each round, it'll be a 7-round championship. After each round for the first 5 rounds, one driver will be eliminated after each race. And before the second and last round, or after the second and last round, two of the 5 drivers will be eliminated, and it'll be a 3 driver race for the championship at the end.
We'll have a graphic for this next week.
We'll go over it again.
But the thing is, basically, there's a 7-race championship, 1 driver eliminated each week, and gives a 3-driver head-to-head in the final race, which I like that. That's a cool way of doing it, but it puts a lot of emphasis on single races, which means any little mistake is going to cost you big time.
Yeah, definitely so. So from us, pretty much, we will be covering Darlington next week, and then we'll be not able to cover the Fuel Series because
5 races, right? Or 4?
4 races, 5 weeks. But so we won't be able to cover 4 races because of a prior commitment we had. So we will be missing Indianapolis, which is the final round of the regular season, and then Watkins Glen, Richmond, and Pocono, which will be first 3 rounds of the Fuel Finals. But after that, we will come back on November 27th for Talladega, and then Atlanta Gateway, and the season finale at Las Vegas.
I'm so sad about missing Watkins Glen. So sad.
Yeah.
All right, well, that wraps things up here, Finney. I think that puts a nice end on the night. Well, pretty crazy one here this evening for the Rigshare Fuel Cup Series. Again, internet issues shortening the night. Race finished about lap 65. The rest of it was run out for fun. But again, Rhett McBride gets a victory this season and puts him in a good spot for the playoffs here this season. But from Michigan International Speedway, this was the Suicide Prevention 200 for the Fuel Rigshare Cup Series. It was a wild one. Thanks for sticking with us. We'll be with you on Thursday night with Ferrari Challenge from Detroit, Belle Isle. And then Saturday night, we should be with the Virtual Racing League for their season finale.
At Atlanta.
At Atlanta Motor Speedway. So I haven't told you this yet, Fanine, but I have that photograph thing to do. So you're going to be working with probably someone else.
Oh.
So have fun. But all right. Anyway, well, that's it for us for tonight. I'll explain more in a second. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for being with us, and thanks for sticking with us live.